All right, all right. If you want to achieve English fluency, there is one bad habit you need to eliminate, okay? And that's what we're going to be talking about in this English lesson. I'm going to read a page from this book. I'm going to talk about it and then explain why this is connected to this bad habit that I have, you have, well, most people have. Unless you're like really zen, like you have achieved a level of enlightenment, and because of that, you're different, you're unique. So grab a drink, because this is going to be an interesting English lesson to help you on your journey to fluency. And make sure to subscribe because I'm always posting really different kinds of English lessons to help you become a better and more confident English speaker. So I appreciate you being part of this community. Now, I'm going to read a page from the book Swampland Flowers by, Swampland Flowers, The Letters and Lectures of Zen Master Dawi. Okay? I'm not sure I am reading his name correctly. I got this book as a present last weekend. I had a trip with some friends last week, and he gave me this book. I was very happy. I'm halfway through the book already, and I got some really interesting insights, actually more than one, connected to my life and connected to learning English, achieving English fluency, that I want to share with you guys, okay? I'm going to read the page. It's not the entire page, but it's part of it. There may be some names that I'm not able to pronounce, but I will explain, all right? And it says, tend the ox, the animal, okay? The bull. Since you're studying the path, then at all times, in your encounters with people and responses to circumstances, you must not let wrong thoughts continue. If you cannot see through them, then the moment a wrong thought comes up, you should quickly concentrate your mental energy to pull yourself away. If you always follow those thoughts and let them continue without break, not only does this obstruct the path, but it makes you out to be a man without wisdom. In the old days, Kan Cheng asked Lazy Anne, "What work do you do during the 24 hours of the day?" Anne said, "I tend an ox." Kan Cheng said, "How do you tend it?" And then Anne said, "Whenever it gets into the grass, I pull it back by the nose." Kan Cheng said, "You're really tending the ox." People who study the path in controlling wrong thoughts should be like Lazy Anne, tending his ox. Then gradually a wholesome ripening will take its place. Well, will take place of itself. Now, what do I love about this part of the book, okay? And it's right at the beginning. When I started reading this, I remembered my students. I remembered myself. Because oftentimes when we want to achieve English fluency, we have our minds constantly bombarding us with the wrong thoughts. And these thoughts, they pop up 24 hours a day. Well, maybe not, because we go to sleep, we have parties, we have work. So sometimes we forget. But every time you need to speak English at work or at a meeting or when you're traveling abroad and you have to communicate, then the wrong thoughts, they pop up. And a man with no wisdom tends to the thoughts and let the thoughts control them and manipulate them and make them believe they are less of a person, that they are less of anything, that they don't deserve, that they are not going to achieve what they want, that it's too hard, that it's impossible, that there's nothing left to do, that it's hopeless. And oftentimes, English learners, they're having a job interview. They ask about their English level. Hey, what's your English level? And then the thoughts, the wrong thoughts. You're terrible. You suck at it. You're like a basic speaker. You can't do this. And then what comes out of your mouth and your facial expressions. It's okay. I'm an intermediate. I can speak a little, but I'm not advanced. I'm studying, but I'm not completely fluent. I understand a little, but I can't speak. Have you ever caught yourself doing that? Letting the wrong thoughts continue. And what is the writer saying here in this page? The thoughts are going to come. They always come. I think that it's inevitable. As human beings, we are always comparing ourselves to others. So you see a native speaker at work conversing, and then you look at them and you feel, oh man, I will never be like him. I will never be like her. I can't do that. And let me completely honest with you, you won't, because that's an unrealistic comparison. And it is a negative thought, because the journey to fluency should not be targeting being like the native speaker. It should target your ability to express yourself, to express your thoughts, your ideas, your desires, your passion, your interests, and help you contribute with the world, contribute with the things you have to do at work. But what happens? We lose our focus and we use our energy. And then in another page of this book, he talks about our power, that when we focus on the wrong thoughts, we are using our power the wrong way. We have a lot of power, and you can call it something else. You can say intelligence, you can say energy, you can say your brain, energy and focus. You're using all of the power, all of that energy into something that is not going to help you get better. Of course that I can listen to a native speaker talk and I can admire. I can listen to them and in a place of positivity and in a place of admiration, I can say, wow, one day I want to speak more confidently. I want to speak more professionally. Maybe if I keep studying, I will achieve a better level. I will not achieve perfection because perfection is an illusion. So many native speakers don't speak well. They may be native speakers, they may be fluent, but they can't communicate efficiently. They get stuck, they stutter, they don't have a good control of their voices. As a result, they speak English, but they don't speak. They can't communicate. Communication is an art. It's an art you can learn, an art you can master. Here on my channel, I always say you can learn to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. So what is the problem of the bad thoughts, the wrong thoughts? This is one of them. I compare myself, I look around, and my mind is filled with negative thoughts that he calls like really bad thoughts, the wrong thoughts, that will make me feel more insecure. And the more insecure you feel about your journey to fluency, about your ability to speak, the less information you will access when you're using the English language. And that's the problem with this habit. And this happens more than you can imagine, okay? And you could be wondering right now, all right, Priscilla, but how do I stop the bad thoughts? And this is something they talk about in the book later on, okay? And if you focus too much on stopping the thoughts, you will get stuck. But again, if you just stay there, you will also get stuck. What I think you need to understand is I like to do, okay, this is something that I like to do. I like to think of the opposite. I like to focus on what I need to do, not on what I can't do. When I am in the middle of a conversation and I don't know a word, or I mispronounced something, or I said a word incorrectly, I don't focus on that like, oh my God, look at you, like that sucks. I focus, okay, how can I do this better? How can I improve this? This is typically the language that I use in my brain. If you don't know me, I'm a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. And in NLP, we study the power of the words we use. Scientifically, I'm not just talking about, oh, spiritual. No. There are changes. You influence the brain depending on the words you choose. So when I am having a conversation with someone and I make a mistake and I say something that I wasn't happy about, I don't spend too much time focusing on that. That's training. That requires a lot of training. What I do is I say, okay, keep going, Priscilla. What can you do? What word? What is the next word? What is a better word you can use? Because when you ask your brain better questions, your brain gives you better answers. So if you ask your brain in the middle of a conversation, why do you always make this mistake? Guess what your brain is going to do? Your brain is going to look for answers, for memories, for examples, for reasons to answer the very same question, the exact question you asked. Why do I always make this mistake? Because you suck, because you don't know English well, because you don't study, because there's something wrong with your brain, because you did this many times, because. Your brain is going to look for the answers, for the reasons, for the memories, for the examples, for the explanations to support your question. But when you start changing the communication with the brain and start asking, okay, what can I do instead? What is the word? What is the next word? Oh, I forgot. I will remember. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. That's a process. It's gradual. It's not going to be a miraculous change. This book is teaching me a lot, okay? It's really talking about how you react to things, because your reaction will determine how fast or how slowly you achieve English fluency. And why do I say that? Well, I lived abroad for 2 years. I've been teaching English for nearly 20 years. I have seen people learn English, unlock their fluency in 2 months. Oh, Priscilla, I don't believe you. Believe me, do not believe me. I have seen it happen. I have helped people do it. I myself unlocked my fluency in 6 months. I went from nothing to speaking in 6 months. Was my English perfect? Absolutely not. But I could talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And in this part of my journey, I understood that what I tell myself in my brain will determine how easy or how hard the journey to fluency is. Because I feel like we are living in this matrix. We are all in different worlds. Right now, you could be watching this video and you could be thinking, this teacher is insane. She's crazy. Shouldn't she be teaching just vocabulary and grammar? You know, girl, you're not a psychologist. You're not a guru. You're not my guru. Another student could be watching this video and be like, wow, I had never thought about that. That chick may be right. My mind is crazy. We are all living different stories in our brain. What is the story you're telling yourself? Why is it that you were able to go to college and get your certificate, get your diploma, but you can't achieve English fluency? You're not intelligent? Oh, but Priscilla, I'm not good with languages, you know. That's the story you're telling your brain. And your brain will believe it. The more you repeat it, the wrong thoughts, remember? The more you repeat this, the more your brain will have data, information, memories, examples. I stopped telling myself a few pieces of information, a few phrases, because I know how negative they are. And we have been doing this. I don't know about you, but I like to come here and talk about things that I go through. And I know how challenging this is, because during the day, when I'm working, when I'm at the gym, when I am cooking, when I'm taking a shower, the wrong thoughts come, and they come strong, y'all. They come and they knock and they are fierce. And that's when we need tools to help us reduce the thoughts, because you are not what you think unless you believe. So what are you telling yourself about your English journey? Oh, but if I don't speak like that person, I won't be fluent. Yeah, I've been studying for like 10 years and nothing is changing. Nothing? Absolutely nothing? What do you keep repeating to yourself? Oh, I listen to the CDs or whatever. It's not CDs anymore. I listen to podcasts and I watch videos on YouTube, but I understand nothing. Nothing? I understand very little. Like little? How much? Are you tracking your victories or are you tracking your failures? Which do you prefer to track? Do you prefer to track small victories or failures every day? This is the wrong thought that the master is talking about. It's continuous. It's everywhere connected to your journey to fluency. You're talking to a native speaker on the street. You're traveling abroad. You're having a good time, but then you don't know how to say a word. You get stuck with that word. But eventually you understand each other and you move on. Instead of celebrating, wow, I had this conversation with an American. It was so fun. We had some problems, but it was fantastic. No, you stay stuck with, I can't believe it. I got so nervous and I made so many mistakes. And thank God he was patient with me. Terrible English speaker. What kind of story do you want to share? What kind of story will you repeat to your brain? When I have new students in my program, in my academy, or 101, one of my first questions is, okay, tell me about your English. Because I want to see the thoughts they have in their minds. And most of them will start with, it's not good. I get nervous, I panic, I'm always sweating, they don't understand me very well, then I panic, then I forget the words, and everything goes blank, and I study a lot, I study hard, but nothing's changing. Of course, nothing is going to change. You have to start changing the mindset. Don't be naive. You will have to study. We have to fix mistakes. We have to work on grammar, vocabulary. I do all of that with my students in my academy. By the way, you are invited to join my beautiful program and become my student in my academy. I will leave the link here in the chat. You're welcome to join. You have to do all the technical stuff, but always tending to the mind. The mind is the ox, okay? The ox, the animal, the bull. The mind is the ox. You have to tend to the thoughts in the mind. Because your mind will play games with you. You do a test, you fail. Your mind is going to go to a really dark place and say, you suck at that. You can't change, you can't improve, you can't learn. So if you don't change this bad habit, because it's a habit, it's not, because sometimes people can say, no, Priscilla, you don't understand. It's me. It's my identity. I've always been like that. It's who I am. No, it's not who you are. It's the repetition of your actions. It is your habit. It is your pattern. And habits can be changed. Patterns can be broken and mended and changed. As long as there is willingness, as long as there is awareness. Awareness is right now. Right now, some of you will become aware that this is a habit. It's something you've been doing. And now you are on autopilot. So now you are aware. Then the next step is willingness. Do I want to change? Am I willing to change? Because it hurts. There's that song from, I forgot his name. It'll come to me. Loving can hurt sometimes. Ed Sheeran. See, I remembered. Look at my pattern. I forgot Ed Sheeran's name. Instead of saying, oh my God, you always forget his name. I didn't. I changed the pattern. I changed the habit. And I said, it'll come to me. I will remember his name. Because in the past, I used to say, oh, I always forget the name, stupid me. Now I change, it'll come, it'll come. So as I was saying, loving can hurt. Well, changing can hurt. Changing can be a little painful because when you realize you have to change your habits, you have to change your actions to improve your life, to get the things you desire, it hurts. Physically, emotionally, psychologically, because in our nature, we want to stay the same. We want to have the maximum results without effort, with as little effort as possible. And it's the same with English fluency. It's the same with speaking, comprehension, vocabulary. Tell me how many of you search how to learn 100 words in 5 days? How to be fluent in 2 weeks. How to be fluent while you sleep. How to use subliminal messages in your sleep so that you can be fluent fast. How many of you do that? And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that it's human nature. Looking out. Why? Tell them that it's human nature. It is human nature. We want the easy way. So changing the habit will require effort. Will require guidance. I'm currently studying, I think, 3 different courses to improve myself as a professional and to improve myself as a person. Why? Because alone is a little trickier. Alone is a little harder. It's not impossible. It's doable. You can do it. You just need more effort, more energy, more focus. And these are all requirements that can make us a little frightened, especially when we don't know exactly what to do. So achieving fluency can go really fast or really, really slowly. It all boils down first and foremost to the thoughts you feed your brain. We start with the thoughts, and then we move on to actions. As I said, just thinking, I'll be fluent, won't make you fluent. You will need to take action. That's when you have my programs, my guidance, my 101, my study plan, all my courses and activities to guide you. You will need to take action. And even with your actions, you will also need to tend the ox, the thoughts in your mind. Because as you're taking the actions, as you're going through the actions, the journey, you will have ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster. Life is never like this. The only moment your life is flat is when you die. You have moments of balance, moments when, okay, happy, sad. But you're always with ups and downs, and it's the same with the journey. I have days when I feel like my English is amazing. Conversely, there are some days when I feel like I forgot my English. I feel like, wow, today is not my best day, but I'll do better. I'll do better tomorrow. I'll do better next time. It's okay. I appreciate what I'm doing today. And this is the gradual change of thoughts. I recognize my bad thoughts. Hey, I didn't do such a good job, but I'm going to do better. I know I can do better. With a little bit more exercise, with a little bit more patience, and a little bit more love and kindness to myself, I'll do better next time. And I'll keep studying. I'll keep following people's guidance and checking Teacher Prix's videos and finding other things to read, inspirational content. And that's great, guys. You need not just English lessons, but you need content to feed your mind, to help you understand that learning a language, learning anything, will require a pattern change here. And this is not just connected to English, even though my focus is on English. This is for life. Think about what's happening to you right now. Are you feeling stuck somewhere else? Relationships, business, career, purpose, English. What thoughts are you feeding your brain? That's the question you have to ask. I will leave the name of the book in the description of this video in case you want to purchase. I'm still reading, almost done, halfway there, okay? Change your thoughts if you want to achieve English fluency faster, because you could go to Harvard like I did. You could have a private teacher 5 days a week. You could live in another country, and you would still be stuck in a rut if you don't change your mind, if you don't change your thoughts. Tend to the ox, and then change your actions, because good thought without actions are meaningless. You need to take action if you want to change. All right? I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it with a beautiful friend. Bye-bye.